Now, I know what you're gonna say. Yes, I did miss a video this week. I had a friend visiting that I rarely ever get to see, and we did a bunch of Halloween fall-related activities. There was no way that I was gonna leave you with no video at all, though. So today, we are doing the pumpkin spice cinnamon rolls that you guys suggested on my last community tab post, as made famous by Rie herself. It's nice to get one more, like, legitimate recipe in this month before I start going off the rails and making things like gum and raindrop cakes. This should be absolutely delicious, so let's get right into this. If you would like to up your pumpkin spice desserts game, grab yourself some sugar and whole milk, kosher salt and flour, powdered sugar, active dry yeast, butter, pumpkin pie spice, some baking powder, some coffee, and some brown sugar. For whatever reason, I was always kind of scared to make cinnamon rolls and similar desserts like this homemade. They're always just kind of intimidating when you're watching somebody else make them. There seems to be so many opportunities for them to go wrong. I'm gonna follow Rie's recipe as closely as possible. Her video will be down in the description. The first step is obviously mixing together your dough and letting it rise 2 times. The first one didn't seem to rise very much at all, and that was for an entire hour, so we're starting off with me already a little bit worried. I was able to roll it out in a nice even thickness, and you have to mix up your filling mixture, which is just basically some brown sugar, some butter, and a whole lot of pumpkin pie spice. The recipe says 2 tablespoons, which is even a lot for me. It's more than half of that bottle I showed you at the beginning, but we are just gonna roll with it. I barely had enough filling to cover most of this dough, but once I did have it spread nice and thinly, I tried to roll it up without putting my finger right through it and making a big hole. And depending how large you want these to be at the end, you're gonna cut them in 6 or 7 pieces. What you're seeing here is half of what the recipe calls for. The full recipe makes 12 to 14, so you can make 6 or 7 with this. Now while I let my dough rise for a second time, I'm going to whip up the coffee glaze to finish. We do have to make a cup of coffee really quickly. If you have a flavored coffee, like a vanilla, a caramel maybe, or just a pumpkin spice coffee, I encourage you to use that. I am using plain, because that's all I got for now. And immediately I noticed that this was very runny compared to the video. I had to add in almost 2 or 3 times the amount of sugar that they call for to get it to look anything like the one in the video. I set that aside and baked off my cinnamon rolls in a 350-degree oven. And I'm just not realizing that I've been calling them cinnamon rolls. The video title has cinnamon in it, but there is no cinnamon involved in this recipe at all. Either way, these are looking pretty dang good. So once they cooled completely, I pulled one out, gave a very generous drizzle of my coffee frosting. Unless these somehow taste absolutely horrible, Rie, I think you've done it again. Between this and everything else I've made the last few weeks, I'm gonna get a smell complaint instead of a noise complaint, keeping the building up all hours of the night making stuff like this. A lot of the frosting did run right off after I cut the camera because they're still so warm. I should have let them cool for a little bit longer, but this is so good. Why do all the most delicious things have to be the most unhealthy for you? Surprisingly, you get really great coffee flavor from the frosting, and I was about to complain that it was a little too sweet because of how much extra sugar I had to add. But it's almost as if the dough kind of needs it. Like the dough isn't sweet at all. It's pretty neutral. This is absolutely fantastic. I'm gonna eat this and probably 3 more. Rie, you have done it again. I hope you guys enjoyed today's pumpkin spice video. Again, I apologize for missing Thursdays. We'll get right back on track next week, and I already have some pretty crazy ideas for the rest of this month. Follow me over on Twitter and Instagram if you don't already. Other than that, have a fantastic beginning of your week. I will see you right back here next time. Peace.
With the M without the AD. Flipping burgers and my money super lazy. Try and make a meal tonight, they ain't paying me. Trying super Besides my life with my 18. Yeah, our style wasn't wavy, but we had a vision. We could